howdy and a good morning to you. This is Tubalcain again, and this is edition number 3 of my series called This and That. And I'm going to do this morning because I need a little rest from what I've been doing. I just finished that very, very long series on Logan lathe dials, which is very well received, and I appreciate that. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. But I need a little rest, so I'm doing something easy today, and I need to get caught up on some of this stuff that's come into the shop and comments that people have made and so on. So please continue watching the videos. Make comments. Remember, I cannot answer all of them. I do answer just a few, and it's otherwise I'd spend all my time right at the computer. You know, one comment here, like that video series is well over an hour on the Logan lathe dials. You know, somebody comments, the only comment he made about the whole thing is, I hear a cricket in the background. Well, so what? I got crickets crawling all over here. I know because I see them once in a while, but I do not hear them. My hearing absolutely does not pick up that pitch. I have no idea, and even if I did, what am I going to do about it? So, you know, that's discouraging to me when somebody says something like that, because I don't care, and I try to kill them if I can. I can't afford an exterminator. But they are a common thing here in basements and garages in Illinois. All right, that aside, let's take a look at some of the things that came in here. And my buddy from out east, Dave, and he goes by the name on YouTube, Trainman4602. I've mentioned him many times. He is a superb craftsman, a machinist, a molder, a pattern maker, and he has a knowledge of many, many trades. And I gave him something, and I sure wasn't expecting anything in return, but he made a video kind of in my honor and showing how he made these things that he sent to me here. Now, if you recall, a long time ago I made a video on how to make this spill-proof oil can, and that was well received. Well, he made one for me, and he used the same size can, but he likes a smaller can, he said, for the size of his hands. But he made one with the same chicken can or turkey or whatever it was. But look at how beautifully that's made, and it is powder coated, and he made a plaque for me. And in the video he also shows how he makes these plaques using acid, but it said, presented in commemoration to Tubalcain for his 14 million views on YouTube. So again, thank you, Dave. I've thanked him by email several times, but I'm publicly thanking him here. Isn't that perfect? And, you know, just every little detail, the way he's got it riveted on here, and the spacing is perfect, and the soldering is perfect, and even went so far as to use powder coating so that the paint won't dissolve with the various oils that I might use. That's why I never did paint mine, because you know how that paint sloughs off, especially that cheap spray paint. It just doesn't hold at all, and it's about worthless outside. He also made this for me. He made the box. And Dave runs an outfit, a business called Mercer Locomotive, and that's the same kind of plaque, acid etched. And he's in New Jersey, and this is a miniature pipe thread tap and die set. Now, he said that at one time in the past he had sold some of these sets, but I don't believe they were in a beautiful case like this. But these are tiny pipe thread taps and dies. He even showed how he made this. So we got an 1/8, 5/32, 3/16 and 1/4 inch tapered pipe taps and dies. And the funny thing is that, and I'm not sure that I showed this, and thank you, Dave, because I'm going to move on from this, but I hope to use this set here and what I'm going to show you here in the next little clip. Again, thanks, Dave, and I think that some of you have found this interesting. And look at the workmanship here and the effort that he went even to make this case, and it's made out of mahogany, and just, you know, it's beautifully finished. Little brass hinges all put on, nothing misdrilled, nothing crooked. So here's the superb craftsman. So let's show let me show you what I'm going to do with these. I believe I've showed this already, or shown it before, And these are brass or bronze castings, and I got these from J. Nelson. Sent them to me out of the clear blue sky, and these are little castings to make valves and pipe fittings that would be used in small model steam engines, and they are to scale. And these were available in several different sizes. Now, he didn't make these. He came across them and had no use for them, so he sent them on to me. And this winter I hope to do a little video on how I'm going to machine these and so on. And blueprints were included. And this product actually was made or sold by PM Research, and you've heard of them. And here's all the drawings for that. And it requires a 1/4 inch 40 pipe tap. And I was wondering, where am I going to get one of those? Well, as it turned out, Dave sent it to me. But look at these cute little castings here. This is for valves. You can see how small they are because there's the little handle. There's 4 of them on here. These, of course, have to be cut apart. They're on a tree. There's some brass for the various parts. Now, these little castings here, and there's 3 sets of those, are for elbows. These also are on a tree. So you see a 90-degree elbow and a T and a 45-degree elbow, and there's a coupling, and there's even a cross fitting. Very small, and a 1/4 inch is this one. You know, that actually looks too big, doesn't it? So it must be one of these smaller ones. Or I have a drawing here for one of the larger ones. I'm not sure. Because that 1/4 40 is way too large, so I'll use one of the smaller ones. Probably like that one, or that one. Okay. And thank you, Jay, for that, and I thought some of you might find that interesting, but that's going to be a rather intricate little project, and I hope to get to it this winter. Do not confuse this video with my What Is It Mystery Tool series, and I've got a whole bunch of things laying here along my side that will be going on that, and they've kind of built up on me, so I got a few there I think really nobody will figure out, but some of them have been way too easy. You recall a while ago a man by the name of Steve Page sent me this nice aluminum casting. He's got a little home foundry like I do. That was shown in another video, but he sent me another casting, and he did a flywheel because I think he does a few steam engines and things like that. And this is a flywheel that he cast up, but the interesting thing about this is that the pattern for this is actually just the wheel off of a barbecue grill. So he didn't have to do pattern making for it, just some kind of little modification. And you know, there wasn't a whole lot of draft on that probably, so we have a little sand that fell in there, but that doesn't matter one bit because that can be machined off. And then this he put the sprue right in the center, which also is the riser. You can see the shrinkage there, so there was really no shrinkage there. And thanks, Steve. That's something that I will either use possibly on one of my engines if it happens to be the right size, or it's an idea for how I can make castings, because sometimes when I make an engine, I hate to spend hours, maybe a whole day, making a pattern for just one part, and I'm only going to make one of them. So it's a real time consumer, and that's about a 5-inch wheel. So thanks, Steve. I like to go to book sales, used book sales, and I go to them all the time. There's a lot of them in the summer at flea markets, and I don't mean a regular flea market, but usually they're a fundraiser, and there must have been, I'm not kidding when I say 100,000 books, and I spent 3-4 hours there. I go over and over and over, and I must have bought 50 books, but the only one worth showing to you is this one, and I love to read biographies and other technical things. I didn't find a whole lot of technical things at this one. I bought a whole stack of Smithsonian magazines. I like to read those, older ones. Well, there was only 5. They were 5 years old, dime each, 10 cents each. But this is a Lindsay reproduction here, reprint. You know, Lindsay went out of business. I think most of you knew that. But I just loved his books, and this one's called Steam Engine Design, so that'll make some nice winter reading. And the days are getting colder here already. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today. So that's a nice little book, 50 cents. Sometimes I forget what I have shown you. I think I showed this before. Materials Handbook. That was $2 on a clearance rack. My brother sent it to me. And it's that's probably a $50 book. $75 that was originally. But it's got information on just about any kind of material you can think of. There's cobalt, there's diamonds, garnet, glass sand, different kinds of waxes, manganese steel and non-magnetic steel, blah, 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 pewter, seaweed. I don't know why I would want to read that, but there's a good book. Pick up a copy of that. If you, it's not going to be something you read in bed, but it is a reference book. Quite thick. Please watch my videos all the way through. Don't just scan them. What was discouraging the other day, I just finished that Logan dial video. It was 70 minutes long. And I thought, well, I'm just going to check this out. So I put it on, and I put all 4 on at the same time. Within, pardon me, 15 minutes, I had a lot of comments about what a great video it was, and so on and so forth. And well, how could they have watched the entire video in 15 minutes? They didn't. So they're just scanning through it, and I have often said, that my videos are too long, and many of you say, no, they're not. They're just the right length. Make them longer, make them longer. Well, obviously they're too long for some people, or they have short attention spans, so they're just scanning right through them, missing all of the detail that I try to put in there. So watch the whole thing, please, please. I bought this. I've been to a lot of auctions. Well, not a lot of auctions, but I've been to some auctions this summer, and I picked this up, but actually I had to buy it from a man. It was in a box lot. And I missed the bid. It was too much, so I just said, hey, do you want to sell that? And he said, sure, but it was way too much. He wanted $20. I said, I'll give you 10. He said, no, I want 20. He didn't even know what they were. But these are Walton tap extractors. I don't know why I bought them. I've never had any luck with them, but I looked them up, and shoot, that's about a $70 set. But I've never had any luck using tap extractor, but I bought them just to show to you. So if you have a broken tap, you select the extractor of the correct size, and these little fingers here go down into the flutes. Push that down as far as you can, bring that up and turn it with a wrench, and then you proceed to instantly break these. Part of the problem is that the flutes are jammed with chip, so how do you really get that down in there? And when a tap breaks, it breaks because it's stuck, and it's stuck hard. So how do you get it out? Well, this is a last-ditch effort, and so those are Walton tap extractors. Most of these, when you see them, are in pieces, mangled, twisted pieces, but that's a Walton tap extractor. They are very nicely built and hardened and of the highest quality. Little sheet here on how to use them. This is not my What Is It series, but I'm going to just put out a plea for help on what this thing is, because it's not really a tool, so I won't include it on that series. But I bought this 3 or 4 years ago at an auction, and I had to give $10 for it, and I was standing way in the back, and the man held it up and said, he called it a steam engine. And I foolishly believed him. It's really rather neat. It's all die-cast zinc, but it isn't a steam engine. There's no valving whatsoever. So you put air in there, and nothing happens. Or this will just go up, like that instantly, and that's it. Furthermore, it is also not an air pump, because similarly you would need some kind of valving for that. Now since then, and when I went up to see my buddies there in Leland at that screw machine shop, they had a million things there to look at, and there was one of those on their shelf, and I said, what? You got one just like me. What is that? And they didn't know. That was my dad's. I don't know what that is. hammer tone paint on it. So if anybody knows what that is, let me know. If not, I'm going to use that little flywheel on something else. I'm outside in the garage now. I went to an auction recently. Well, I'm always going to auctions recently. But I bought this whole pile here. It's a threaded rod. I used to call it ready rod. There's some straight, regular rod. Heavier ready rod. There's some rod and threaded rod, and just some rod. That's 1 inch. And a nice little pile there of smaller threaded rod. That runs about $1 a piece if you got to buy those. That whole batch was $3. That'll be handy. That was an electrical shop. They used a lot of this threaded rod to hang conduit and so on. I think you know the way they wire these buildings. A couple months ago I went back to the scrapyard to see my buddies, and I bought some more aluminum, and this is that nice thick plate. There's a bunch of pieces of that, but just looking at it just now, I was greatly discouraged to see that there's all kinds of corrosion on it. Look at that. I already brushed some of it off, and there's a mess on the floor over there, and look at the streak down there. This was all nice bright aluminum when I bought it. I'm going to scrub that here in a few minutes when I'm done with this video, but what caused that? Well, right up above it I had setting this product here. Is called Shock and Swim, but that's what I use to degas or to flux my aluminum. But look at the corrosion there. I don't get that. But I'm throwing this all out right now, right this minute, in the garbage, so it's out of here because I don't like corrosion. I got to clean up down there where there's all kinds of corrosion and corruption. Look at that. Even on the wood, whatever, it must have liquefied and even dripped on the wood. Look at a mess on the floor, boy. And my hand, I just touched my hands with, or my camera with my hands, so out that goes. I also bought these bars of aluminum here at the same time. Some of them are quite long. That's about 6 foot long. Different thicknesses. This one is, there's a lot of holes in it, but there's still a lot of good aluminum. That's 3/4 thick. And that's 1/2 inch thick. That's about 4 foot long. Then there's some shorter pieces here, 1/4 inch, but that looks extruded. That stuff is so hard to machine, or not hard to machine, but it's so gummy. And then there was a handful. I've already used some of that on my lathe dials, some larger pieces that I had. I went to an auction last weekend, and it was a consignment auction, and in fact I took a trailer load of stuff. I got a clear house here, but I ended up buying more than what I sold. But it was a whole trailer load full of stuff, including many of my antique planes, and some stuff sold all right, but the actual wooden planes, and there was about 100 of them in various lengths and so on, sold so cheaply that I would have been better off using them as firewood, because you go to a convenience store, it's about $5 for the little bundle of firewood. My planes went cheaper than the firewood. So a little discouraged, but I did clean house. Everything I bought was more modern stuff, so I'm not going to show all of that to you, but just a couple highlights here. This vise here, this tilting vise, I know it's where it's made, but it's not bad. 3.5 inch, that was $7, and it was still in the box. So it's still all packing grease on it. I already had a 4 inch, and this is a 2.5 inch. Tilting vices. So anyway, they are okay to even use for light milling on the milling machine, but I'm using them really for drill press work. $7, had to have it. This was $14. I don't know why I bought it. It's a roto zip. If you know what those are, they're used for drywall. But I thought when I bought it for $14, and it's brand new, and it's got all the accessories and the bells and whistles, never been used. You know, if they're used, they're full of plaster dust. But I thought it was one of those RotoZip type products, the newer ones that does this back and forth. But no, it's the kind that uses these little drills of various sorts, and there's all kinds of different things here, and the original directions, and all kinds of accessories, but probably never use it. Don't know why I bought it, but that shows you why really a fellow should stay home and not go to these auctions. I must confess to liking these Kennedy boxes, and I've got about 6 of them, and that's my good one on the workbench outside. But I've got this other one here, and it's not very good shape, and this drawer is off the tracks, and it, it doesn't work right, so I have replaced it with this one that I bought at the auction. $65 I had to give though, but it's pretty much like new. Not exactly, not totally new. It has been used, but it's in perfect condition. It's a Craftsman, but made by Kennedy. The only thing it didn't have was the keys, which I don't care about because I never in my entire life have locked one. Well, when I was very young working at Osborne Engineering I did, but other than that, the key and the lock is actually a nuisance. So is this. But I never do close them up, so the actual cover is kind of a nuisance. Sometimes I just put them in the attic, get them out of the way. But that was a good buy. I thought for $65. Maybe they only cost $75 new, I don't know. But they had a Gerstner chest there, if you know what a Gerstner chest is, and with wood, and it had the riser box, and I think that sold for about $900. And it wasn't an antique, it was a relatively new one, but people worship those oak chests. And sometimes it's women that buy them for jewelry and such. Here's my last item here on the this and that, number 3. And you're probably thinking, thank goodness. This is a Rock Island 4.5-inch jaw vise. I paid $20 for it only. And I just hurt my back lifting it up here. It's too heavy. Sometimes I take these vices apart to even move them. But what's unique about this Rock Island vise is that it's what they called a sheet metal device. See how high it is here? And the way it slopes off, it was designed for bending sheet metal and doing sheet metal work, and I've always wanted one of these. I don't know why, but I always have. Probably very, very old. I see there's quite a bit of slop right here. If I can, I'm going to put some kind of bushing in there. Where I will mount it, I don't know, because I got vices on every one of my benches. They're smooth jaws. They are not serrated. They are not toothed, so that you won't mark the sheet metal. I do like the ball here, the way that's made. No swivel base, which I don't particularly like a swivel base. Makes them too high and too heavy and cumbersome. But isn't that a nice vise? It looks like it'll open up a long way because of the length here. Now, why you would need it a long way if you're doing sheet metal, but there's all kinds of other jobs that a fella can do with really any vise. And notice the height right here, so it's a little bit unusual, not something you see. I had to wait around till the cows came home to get this. This was about the 4th item from the end of what they sold at this auction, and I guess I'm a diehard, and I had another reception I had to go to, so hardly had time to get home and change clothes. So, well, I hope you like my little this and that series here, and if you do, I will continue doing these as I accumulate things and things come into the shop and a new thing. So keep watching these videos and leave those comments, and I hope you enjoy what the old tubalcain does here. So with that in mind, this is Tubalcain saying so long for now.